Chris Wood here. Spencer Mills 14716, Lennox and Addington, Ontario Provincial Police, now allegedly Aurelia, ex-chief or commander, year 2019, had me shot before he left in August, drove a white Jeep Wrangler. Staff sergeants, years 2019-2021, kidnapping and sex assault. Shannon Cork, Robert Kane, Robert Lucas, Stacy, a mental health worker, was Napanee Daily Tea Company, now Kingston, and Shelley Huffner, Lennox and Addington, Ontario Provincial Police, human trafficking, human sex trade, slavery trafficking, kidnapping, murders, attempted murders, false arrest, medical blacklisting, file falsifications, false arrest to prevent anything legal on cops and doctors and others involved in crimes, criminal stalking, my mother stalked and murdered, my dogs killed, lies, time buying, cover ups, and more. I spoke police crimes. I became a target. Back in 2019, I was shot by the XOPP chief by what is called remote neuro monitoring, not by a bullet, but by something that went into my right ear. That's when problems began. Lies, the time buying, the cover ups, the medical blacklisting, the file falsifications through the hospital, and more. I have not been able to get any legal help, medical help, or any other human rights, medical rights, legal rights taken. I am also the end of my bloodline, full skull deforming, brain injuring, with proof, no previous neurological problems prior to being shot, serious skull deforming, lung and kidney damages, which I never previously had, caused by CEO of Lennox and Addington Hospital by kicking me out of the hospital and preventing me help through paladin security, and then turning around and having me arrested for telling him of the crimes that he is guilty of, telling him that the crimes that the hospital and the doctors are guilty of, and that who and what they were doing, who they were working for and covering up crimes with and for, and that they all needed to be criminally and felony arrested. I made a video stating I was going to go get it done that day to get arresting and charging on police, doctors, justice of the peace, and everybody else involved. I then conveniently go to the hospital because I was having serious problems. It was an emergency. My skull was swelling up and deforming. I was surrounded by doctors, and went in to see triage. Terry was working. A bunch of nurses came in, and even paladin security. I got up and I left. I was walking home. Next thing you know, I was surrounded by the police here. Mr. Wood, we have warrants out for your arrest. I was surrounded and treated like a plain and simple criminal for wanting to go get criminal help. And as a result, for them to cover up their crimes, they had me arrested and charged for the second time. This is how they are committing their crimes and getting away with it. Although I've been trying for 3.5 years to get it done with no success, because it's the police, because it's the doctors, and how they are committing using their badges, positions, credentials to cover up their crimes. Poor, homeless, elderly, disabled, be aware, because they are very seriously dangerous cops. They are very seriously dangerous doctors. They are using Clearview AI on victims. They are using remote neuro monitoring on victims as well, and other tech. It can be operated through Wi-Fi, cell phone, computer. and it can do very seriously damage. It enables for invasive surveillance. It is being used on me through co-offenders, drug-fed, money-paid lowlifes who are inmates and others up on charges for drop charges who are drug traffickers, human sex trade, slavery traffickers, pedophiles, guilty of rapes and murders. And this is how I am going through my identity theft and change from the RNM being used on me since 2019. It is being used on me through one known as Bill Wooldridge, 149 Center Street North, here in Napanee, now bald glasses, frequents the loaf and ale and coffee cravings. He is highly untouchable, highly unarrestable, and I have proof of OPP surrounding me, hands on guns to prevent anything legal on him, them, or anyone else. Shannon Cork laughing in my face over me telling her to arrest him, telling me to file a report, which would have done no good. And in the meantime, I have been completely brain split, split, serious body damage, and not been able to get any help. File falsifications is how they are covering this up. Plus, preventing me help is also, and buying time is how they are covering up their crimes and getting away with it here in Napanee. Like I said, poor, homeless, elderly, disabled, beware. They are also using this, like I said, for identity theft, financial thefts, and frauds. How they are lobotomizing their victims and having it covered up, using lies against them, against victims about being suicidal self harmers or drug addicts. That way, when they're being tortured or murdered, it will not be believed through the narratives that they are giving. And this is how they are doing it above suspicion and getting away with it, especially here in Napanee. Bill Wooldridge, or the one known as Bill Wooldridge, 149 Center Street North, highly psychotic, highly delusional, believes that we were switched at birth, thinks that he is Harry Potter, was stalking my mother, was phoning my mother, and was threatening her life and mine through her, using R&M on her, causing cancer from the EMFs and radiation. It killed her. Was done with intent. Blair Hardy, highly psychotic. He's a rapist. He's a drug trafficker, drug lacer, highly obsessed. Guilty of multiple homicides. Boyfriend to Spencer Mills, alleged bandito, just like Bill Wooldridge, or the one known as Bill Wooldridge, is alleged Hells Angels Ontario chapter captain. Wanted harbored inmate, sex offender too. He's a child stalking pedophile piece of garbage. Tyler T. Bag Lake, guilty of animal murders and attempted murder on me and aiding in this identity theft. Jason Gimpy Two Step Van Alstyne, guilty of attempted murder and killing my dog as well, with Ray LeBlow, lives behind Mamma Mia's Pizzeria, has two white pit bulls, one pup and one deaf one, here in Napanee, on the corner of East and Dundas Street. Then there's Dale Hartwick and Tony Hearns, all drug traffickers and all OPP untouchables who are working with and for them. This is how they are committing their crimes and getting away with it. In the meantime, this is done to me. Time has been bought. Damage has been done. I have no feeling or stimulation in my head, and I haven't for months. Luckily, I cannot go to a hospital or do anything about this. You've assured this with these pieces of shit. This is, and I guarantee you, I am not the only one. This is how OPP are trafficking, framing, and murdering victims, committing identity thefts on their victims, mentally fucking their victims up, torturing their victims, and getting away with it above suspicion. I can prove my words. I've proven my identity theft and changes. So, damage is done internally to me, and it could all be medically proven. I had no damages, or I had not even been to a hospital or a doctor in almost 7 to 10 years prior to being shot by ex-OPP chief, and the damages and lies and time buying began. So this is how they're doing it and getting away with it. I am Chris Wood. I'm a 50-year-old identity theft, revenge, retaliation, attempted murder victim. Jason Gimpy, Two Step Bonalstein, Blair Hardy, Tyler Lake, Waldridge, this is also how they are committing identity theft, financial thefts, and frauds as well because it enables for invasive surveillance. They are watching and seeing everything I see and hear 24/7. They even use this to sleep with me. They are a bunch of sex offending fucking low-life perverts who are untouchable. Congratulations, you pieces of shit. You just murdered a bloodline.